سيدنا ونبينا ومولانا محمد صلى الله عليه وسلم وعلى آله وصحبه أجمعين وبعد. السلام عليكم ورحمة الله تعالى وبركاته. كيف حالكم؟ الحمد لله. My beloved brothers and sisters, Alhamdulillah, we are in Kitab al-Salah, and we started with the Arkan of Salah. Previously, we looked at two of the 17 Arkan, and this evening we move on to the next three, inshallah. Now remember, the Arkan of the Salah, the integrals, the pillars of the Salah are absolutely important. They are critical. We need to know the fiqh laws relating to the arkan because the validity of our salah rests upon it. So we can't play around with different opinions and different practices. Very important. So in the previous session, we looked at the first two rukuns or arkan. We looked at niyyah and we looked at takbiratul ihram. This evening, we move on to number 3, number 4, and number 5. So the Shaykh writes, الثالث القيام على القادر في الفرض. الرابع قراءة الفاتحة. And الخامس, the fifth one, الركوع. So these three, now we'll go into them now inshallah. These three are the next of the 17 pillars. The third one, and it's the first we're looking at tonight, is al-qiyam, the standing in the salah, in the fard salah, for the one who has qudra, qadir, the one who has the ability to stand in salah. Now this is a very important rukun, and this question often comes my way. If you are injured or you are elderly and you can't stand for a particular period, when can you sit in the salah from the beginning of the salah? When are you allowed to take a seated position from the beginning? So let's say, irrespective if we are elderly or we are sick, we are injured, the standing in salah is fard, it is a rukun of the salah for the person who has the ability to stand long enough in salah without difficulty on the person's health. So, to clarify that, if you can't stand maybe for more than 2 minutes without it inflicting harm upon yourself, without difficulty, then you can begin the salah seated. And this also now connects to the issue of the positioning of the chair of inside. So someone asked me a few weeks ago, where must the legs of the chair be if you are going to perform the salah starting off standing, but when you go into ruku', you're going to sit down. Now that is a different position compared to the person who starts the salah seated. That person, if you join a saf and you can't stand from the very beginning, then the legs of your chair will basically be, the back legs of the chair will be in line with the saf. Your seated position, the back legs of the chair in line with the saf, because you will not be standing throughout that salah. But that is for the one who is excused from standing. The one who can stand, the person perhaps who injured himself, maybe a sports injury, and you can't perform maybe a ruku' or come up from the ruku' because of that injury, but you can maybe stand for 2 minutes, 3 minutes. That person begins the salah in line with the saf and will then sit down during the salah. Now that means that chair, it is slightly behind the line of the saf, because the position is based upon what you are in when you start the salah. And the standing is fard, it's a rukun in the fard salah. So if a person has difficulty If you can manage to stand in your fard salah, then stand, because an opportunity is given in sunnah salah. So in sunnah salah, you are permitted to perform it seated, although it is recommended that you do it in a standing position. That's that first rukun that we touch on. The second one for tonight is the recitation of Surah Fatiha. The recitation of Surah Fatiha must occur. It is a rukun of the salah. Even if you have reverted to Islam or you are learning Surah Fatiha for the first time, you must still recite Surah Fatiha even if you take out a piece of paper or a Quran, a Mus'haf, and you read it in the Salah. The Surah Fatiha must be there. The only time that a rak'ah will not have your recitation of Surah Fatiha, can you think of that time? There's only one instance in fiqh when you will not have a recitation of Surah Fatiha, and it is permitted for you as an exception. When you come late, yes, Mulana. When you come and the Imam is already in ruku'. So if the Imam went Allahu Akbar and in ruku' and you join the Salah at that moment, after the Imam had entered ruku', you must follow the format of that Salah, and so you will go into the dhikr of the ruku'. That is the only exception to this fiqh law, because you must follow the Imam. But other than that, Surah Fatiha must be recited in the Salah for every rak'ah. And then the third, and I'll close with this one inshallah, the third rukun that we are looking at this evening is the ruku'. There must be ruku' bowing in the Salah. Now with the ruku', just some advice that we give regarding the ruku'. The ruku', in fact, it's a general teaching for salah. The salah should not have a moment in which you are not making some form of dhikr, right? So from the opening of your salah, your takbiratul ihram, your istiftah, your surah Fatiha, you're listening to the imam, you recite after the imam, your surah Fatiha, you're listening to the qira'ah of the imam now makes takbir, goes into ruku'. Now, you of course repeat that takbir of that imam, but the fuqaha, the jurists say that you must time your takbir so that there isn't a moment in your salah when you are not making dhikr. So they say, and I'll read here from the Sheikh says, the best method is to raise one's hand. Now this is in the rak'ah, you're about to go into ruku'. The Sheikh says, the best method is to raise one's hands and say Allahu Akbar, so that a person begins raising the hands as he starts the takbir, and when the hands are at the shoulder, he bows down. And you continue with the takbir until you in the position and your hands are on your knees. So Allah, so you're going down. The Imam said Allah and went down. Allah. So as soon as your hands have reached the shoulders, you start bowing down already. So by the time you get into your ruku position and your hands are on your knees, Akbar. You elongate the takbir, because then you are in a position, you are making dhikr, and once you are now in the ruku and your hands are on the knees, you go into your dhikr of the ruku. So that there isn't a mo, because you make dhikr and then the imam is going to come up. Sami Allahu liman hamida. We say Rabbana wa lakal hamd, and we make dhikr. We could go again, we continue with that. So there shouldn't be a moment of sort of silence in your mind where you're not making dhikr. So those are the three arkan we looked at this evening: the standing in the salah and the fard salah in particular. Now, the fuqaha also say regarding that standing, it is even preferred that if you can rest against something, or someone, even the fuqaha say, even if someone holds you up, it is better to fulfill the standing in the fard salah as part of the arkan. That is how recommended this position is. So for those who are sickly, those who are elderly, if you can manage to stand whatever you can with your ability without weakening yourself. Now the elderly, please don't take this teaching the wrong way. Don't weaken yourself that you collapse in the salah. Then you didn't have the ability to stand. So we know the condition of our health. We rather do it based on our condition. We close this evening. Standing is for the one who is able. It is a rukun of the salah in the fard salah. And Surah Fatiha must be recited in your salah. So, any questions? Yes, Aji? Yes. Yes. That's correct, yes. Not in line with the salah. So, no. So they must actually take the question from the Haji is, if you start your salah in a chair and the chair is, the back legs of the chair are in line with the salah, but you want to start standing, technically, the masjid, the place of salah, must have a section where people who want to stand, their chairs are accommodated in that manner, that they can stand in line with the salah, and the chair is technically going to be behind them. But now that means that the people behind that chair won't have a place to put their heads. So they must technically be, and I have mentioned it previously in this masjid, there should be a space where chairs, people performing salah in that manner, can begin standing and then take their seat. I know that we've done it in the ladies section. In Ramadan, we allocated. No, you don't have to stand up. No, stand as long in the qiyam position. So Haji would start the salah standing in qiyam, in line with the salah. But now for ruku, to sit down, to then take the seat, because perhaps that is the difficult part. The ruku is now the challenge. Yeah, so does Haji stand for every rak'ah? Only the opening rak'ah? Yeah. Yeah. So I think we can take the suggestion Molana has made. We must adjust maybe at least one row of the chairs to accommodate the elderly who want to start their salah standing. Because the fiqh law is you must stand, you must be in line with the saf. With the saf if you're going to be standing. That's correct, yes. So that is why one of the elderly came to me a month ago saying we must fix this here in the masjid, inshallah. So that is a good suggestion, inshallah. No, we don't choose sitting over standing, Haji. If Allah still gave Haji the ability to stand, then we stand for Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. Yeah. So I think we must create a space, inshallah, for those who can start their salah standing and they go into the seat. Because their standing will be in line with the salah, yeah, which is the requirement. Yes. Good question. If you come late to the salah, when do you miss the rak'ah? When the imam comes up from ruku. Up from ruku. So if the imam goes into ruku, Allahu Akbar, you are still in the rak'ah. If the imam, if you hear the first breath of the imam, you hear that first letter, first harf, then the rak'ah is complete. You've lost the rak'ah. It's not completed, but you've lost the rak'ah. You're going to have to, then of course, fill one in, inshallah. Okay. Jazakallah khairan. Sallallahu wa sallam. Shukran.